Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show. I'm glad to have you guys here on this Wednesday, the 19th of August, 2020. Now, listen, Jim Rickards has talked about something in his shows. He called it Ice 9. Let's get started. Let's open up the charts right here and take a look at this Ice 9. What is it? Well, it's basically Ice 9 is taken from a fictitious alternative structure of water that is solid at room temperature. Evidently, it comes from a book. It's not something that's real, but it was a fictitious thing that was in a book that was called Ice 9. And basically, how it works is when a crystal of Ice 9 contacts liquid water, it becomes a seed crystal that makes the molecules of liquid water arrange themselves into a solid form. In other words, turn into ice. The reason to create this substance was to aid the military's plight of wading through mud and swamp areas while fighting. That is, if Ice 9 could reduce the wetness in the area to a solid form, soldiers could cross easily and maneuver across without becoming entrapped or slowed. This was from the book Cat's Cradle by Kurt Vonnegut. Jim Rickards used this. It says Jim Rickards used Ice 9 in his latest work, the book called The Road to Ruin, to warn investors of a potential Ice 9 event, which in the financial system literally freezes up the entire financial system in a domino type event, as he describes in a recent interview. So Jim Rickards is worried that the whole financial system would basically freeze because of the over leverage in the system, complete in the derivatives and everything. I mean, it's just, they got like $1 quadrillion of derivatives out there. They got swap lines everywhere. They got the whole system. Is there really a danger that the whole old legacy financial system that we have now is in danger of actually going into some sort of a massive deleveraging that would just basically freeze it so that it's unusable? Well, when I was younger, back in, I guess, the late 80s, early 90s, back when we had carburetors on our cars, my fuel pump and the gas line basically all just froze up on my car. So it wasn't getting any gas to the engine. And, you can look at liquidity or money like the gas that runs the system. And if that freezes up and that money doesn't get out and distributed to the system itself as a whole, well, then the system can freeze. Well, the next thing that would happen within probably 24 to 48 hours, and they talked about this happening. You remember back in 2008, they said that if they hadn't have done something, that the whole system would have froze up and locked up, way back in 2008. Well, they didn't cure that problem. They've compounded it. They've made it like 10 times worse now than it was back in 2008. And so the system's completely over leveraged. I was sitting there thinking about this last night, and back to my car. Anyway, the whole system froze up. The engine, everything froze up because there's no gas getting to the engine. So I tried to get the fuel pump off, and I couldn't fix the old system that was on there very easily. I think bolts stripped off, and it was hard to get to the fuel pump. It was way down under the engine. I think a bolt broke or whatever. It was all rusted, and so I went out and bought an electric fuel pump and put a new gas line in all the way from the engine to the carburetor, just bypassing the system that came with the car, and the car run great. Sitting here thinking about this last night, and thinking about them wanting to come out with this new digital currency. Let me switch the picture here. This is Jim Rickards. And his book, The Road to Ruin, is the book that he has this Ice 9 thing in. Anyway, I was sitting there thinking about this last night, saying to myself, hey, maybe this is the reason why they're trying to put in a digital dollar from the Fed, directly from the Fed to everyone. Everyone would have a wallet connected directly to the Fed. Maybe this is the reason. Maybe they know a lot more than we know. Maybe they know that the old legacy system's getting ready to go ICE 9. Maybe there's a potential danger of it going ICE 9 right now. Maybe that's why they're rushing this in. Because think about it for a minute. It would do exactly the same thing as me bypassing the old carburetor system, not carburetor, but the old fuel pump system, and putting in a brand new gas line and a brand new fuel pump. It would do exactly the same thing. It would be able to bypass the old legacy system and dispense money into the system to keep everything running. Because what would happen if the system ICE 9, if the legacy financial system ICE 9, right this minute, before they got any digital dollar or anything like that, a couple days later, 3, 4, 5 days later, everything would start shutting down because money runs the system. And if they don't have a way of getting that money into the system to keep everything running, I'm talking about your power company, telephone companies, telecommunications companies, everything runs on money. And if all that were to shut down, quite literally, the whole system would shut down. It would freeze as well a few days or weeks later after the financial system froze up and they weren't able to distribute the money. But if they can get this digital currency up and running directly to the Fed, what they've done is they've bypassed the legacy banking system, and they can distribute money to keep everything running, like the telecommunications companies, the power companies, the police, everything would be able to continue being run directly from money coming directly from the Fed into these digital wallets. And I said to myself, hey, maybe this is it. Maybe they know that the system is planning on ICE 9ing. And this would be a alternative financial system that could be up and running to protect America and the world from an ICE 9. You know what I mean? And keep everything running so that we all don't just... we basically, all of us would be stranded. Quite literally, if the legacy system locked up and froze, and there was a banking holiday, and everything just didn't work, your credit cards don't work, your ATMs are shut down, everything's just shut down, everything would just basically stop. And where would we be? So this is something that was going through my mind last night, that maybe the reasons why we think that they're putting in a digital currency and they're rushing it through might not be the real reasons why they're putting in a digital currency. You know? Maybe they're terrified of this ICE 9, of the financial system, of them not being able to stop it this time. They were able to stop it back in 2008. But that was a different world, a different place, a different time, a different era. We didn't have as much leverage, not near as much leverage, not near as much derivatives, not near as much banks that are not fully... banks are failing stress tests even, and these stress tests are not difficult like a real financial system collapse would be. Much more devastating than probably what they practice for in their stress tests of these banks with their tier 1 capital allocations. I mean, it's just, the system is, it's on tenterhooks right now. Let's move in and take a look at what's going on in the financials today. I couldn't get the charts, the normal charts that I get, but gold is moving down. It's at 1954 right now. It's taken it's come down from over $2,000 last night, and it's at 1954, and it is still dropping. It's dropped 45 bucks on the day. These charts aren't too bad. 1954 for gold, and silver is 27.26. Silver's stabilized though, where gold's still falling, but if gold continues to still fall, it'll drag silver down with it. So 24.26 for gold, 27.26 for silver today. And we see it's went down though, but silver's leveled off. You know, the silver to gold ratio is on the move now, and I think it's going to continue to go until it hits around 40 to 1. I think it's going to continue to move. And that's when we can tell when this bull market is finally starting to probably peak. When we start getting down into the 40, 50 to 1 range for silver. That's when you can tell when this bull market is finally starting to. But we got a long way to go. Where silver is right now, and a silver price ratio of that difference, that big of a change, from what it is right now. Cryptocurrency today. 367.1 billion with a Bitcoin dominance of 59.3%, and the Bitcoin price is back down under $12,000, $11,785, $11,785 today for Bitcoin. So Bitcoin prices broke back down. You notice how gold and silver goes down, Bitcoin goes down. The cryptocurrencies go down as well when gold and silver start to go down. They're all traveling together now. Cryptocurrencies, gold and silver, are all traveling together now. Dow Jones Industrial Average today, it's up 86 points on the day, 27,864 today. Crude oil, $42.55. It's down 34 cents on the day. Now, U.S. Treasuries today, and you know what I think we're actually seeing? Is we're seeing these yields falling consistently day after day. And I'll tell you, I think that they are doing yield curve control. The Fed's already doing yield curve control all the way across the yield curve. I think they started a little while ago. Maybe a week ago or something, but maybe they haven't announced it yet. I just don't know exactly what's going on, but I see these yields. We can see evidence now of direct manipulation in the marketplaces. We can see evidence of it in the charting, the theories about what the plunge protection team and these are not theories anymore. They're manipulating these markets outright. Manipulation of the markets, and I think they're trying to control, because if they didn't outright manipulate the markets, I think we already probably would have had our ICE 9 event already, to tell you the truth, But how far does their control extend? When these markets are a lot of the emphasis and focuses on the control of these markets is in the computers, and they can move faster than a person can move. This is what could cause a freeze. Is the fact that the markets are they can manipulate the markets, but it's a very difficult situation that the world's financial system finds itself in now. It's being over leveraged because basically it is all a Ponzi scheme, and it's went exponential quite some time ago. And now, in order to keep up with it, it takes ever increasing amounts of liquidity in order to keep it all inflated. Anyway, let's take a look now at the U.S. dollar index. 92.58. See a little pop in the U.S. dollar index today, right here. It started this morning at 9:46 this morning, basically, and it's a little pop in the dollar. It's went up from 92.2 up to about 92.6. Anyway, listen, thank you guys for listening to my show this morning. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.